Hey, no, hey! It's Walt with One Fall WrestleCast. How's everybody doing? I had a lot of shit going on this week. I really appreciate everybody tuning in today on Wednesday. Today, we got a lot to talk about. The MJF Saga Continues. Lots and lots of chatter out there about the old MJF situation. We're going to get into it for the third week in a row. Also, Double or Nothing did happen. I don't know. I guess we'll figure it out. And WWE, is the brand split finally over? We're going to talk about all that and whatever the hell else we get into. Let's go after it.
Welcome to the One Fall WrestleCast.
Hey yo.
What's up, dudes?
Said
Hi,
hey
fellas.
yo. And then the proper response to hey yo is hey yo. Anyway.
Survey says
We
one
found
more
Tom.
for the good guys. Hey, Tom. So, I remember a couple of weeks ago when Derek couldn't be here and that creepy little fucker showed up.
Derrickhausen? Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't
Yeah.
really like that guy. Anyways, last week,
Sorry,
okay,
guys.
your brother Tim, all right.
Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah. Tim, my younger brother.
Okay.
Jury's still out on him. I thought he was all right, you know?
I thought he was
Yeah,
fine.
because he agreed with everything you said.
I thought
Exactly.
he was fine.
He was like a nicer version of Tom where he doesn't argue and tells me how right I am.
I don't think he was like that exactly.
So, guys, let's just get right into it here. WWE, it appears that the brand split is coming or has come to an end. Man, how long have we
Shortly.
been talking about this mess?
I mean, since 2016, right? That was the last time they did this, and it's been a mess for whatever 8 years. So it's nice to, I mean, or 6 years. I don't know that the brand split's ending per se. I just think it's going to be less. It's going to be more. It's going to be less split, more mingled.
Yeah, more of like like one big show as opposed to two separate shows.
Yeah.
Like, because some of those, I think we're going to get continuation of some of these storylines with some of the big name draws, like a Cody Rhodes, a Roman Reigns, the Usos, RK Bro. The list goes on. And then I think we're going to continue to see some of our Friday night stalwarts, and I think we're going to continue to see, a lot of the people that are just coming into the main roster, so to speak, on Monday Night Raw, kind of helping to develop next storylines, right? So I think in my opinion, and guys, correct me if you think that I'm wrong, but I think in my opinion, SmackDown's going to continue to be the A show moving forward. That's where a lot of like the meat and potatoes is going to live, right?
Well,
and I think that Monday Night Raw is going to be more of an appetizer every single week.
Well, I mean, I would argue that, particularly for this build up to Hell in a Cell, Monday Night Raw has been the A show for like the last month, at least between the last pay-per-view and this pay-per-view. It's been a good 3-hour show pretty much every week. It's been at least a good 2-hour show every week.
I mean, it's been a good 2-hour show for the last 2 years.
It's
third hour.
That third hour that's hit or miss. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been hit for the last month or so, I would say. Mostly due to, I would say, Becky, really. Becky's been on her game, and part of a 20-minute plus segment every week, whether she's having a match or she's on commentary during a match or she cuts a promo and then there's a match or something. I'd say Becky's really been the star this month. and the primary draw of Monday Night Raw. Remember, too, we were getting into the very meat and the end of the NBA Finals, which tends to screw up wrestling for pretty much the entire time that it's on, but like particularly the end tends to screw up wrestling, both with where they are in arenas and just time slots and ratings and all that jazz too. And while we don't particularly care about ratings, and I don't particularly care about the NBA, I know that that's a thing that factors into how shows are booked and all that stuff. So, while we're doing that,
and I mean, I think that I would argue that, that's the thing about Monday Night Raw not ever going to be going back to being the A show, because they're against that 3-hour window, right? And they've not been able to put together a full 3-hour package in at least 5 years.
I mean, I don't know that they ever really were able to do it consistently anyway. I would say this week it was 3 hours of a good show. But I don't know that it's ever going to be consistently 3 hours good every week, ever. I think it's very doable, but I just don't think that 3 hours is a long show. And there's a lot of commercial breaks on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to stay invested during all those commercial break hits. It's just, it's a lot. It feels like once you get through that first 2 hours, you're like, man, all right, I'm having a good time. And then that last hour feels sometimes like another 3 hours all by itself.
Well,
good God.
Well, it's really funny that you bring that up, and I'll circle back. But Derek, you sounded like you had something that you wanted to add to that.
No, I mean, with the brand split, it's kind of been coming for a while, and it kind of makes, if you look at it from a contract perspective, as far as them getting rid of all this talent, it makes more sense now that they're working with a more condensed roster, that they are going to go ahead and just run, without the brand split, and they can go ahead and appease fans in both cities with the shows. So that way they're all seeing the same superstars. It's not going to be, well, you got to go to Raw if you want to see Roman Reigns. You got to go to SmackDown.
I mean, and that was it. Listen, and I'm glad that you brought that up, because that was quite the treat, right? Because SmackDown doesn't come through Pittsburgh all that often. Raw is generally
we always
3
get
to 4
Raw
times a year. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And maybe we get a year where Raw comes through 3 times and SmackDown hits us once, right? And that's not every year. You know what I'm saying? So and then we're always privy to get a house show, and we always get one of those Raw SmackDown super card house shows, right?
Yeah.
But that was a real treat when we went the last time, because we got to see the bloodline. You know what I mean? And that was the build. That was the go home for WrestleMania. So of course, Brock Lesnar, the bloodline, all those guys are going to be there to hard sell that, 1 or 2 more times. But that was a nice treat. And Derek, I think that that's a great point that you bring that up. That hey, now from a money marketing standpoint, you're going to be able to advertise Roman Reigns on Monday nights. You're going to be able to advertise.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes whenever he's not Brock Lesnar and out.
Well, I don't think, I think we're going to see less Roman, but at that point too, and then now you can see all your favorites on whatever it is. Because for the longest time, AJ Styles was the face that ran the place on SmackDown for a long time. And if you're one of those,
also the champ that ran the camp.
Yeah, he was the champ that ran the camp. Let's say you got into WWE and you're a SmackDown city that gets SmackDown 3 times a year, you saw AJ, and AJ was your guy, right? He was your champ. Well, now you haven't seen AJ in person in 3 years because he's been on Raw, and so now it's nice that they'll be able to do that back and forth. I agree. So I agree with Derek on that. The other nice thing too is I think that it's going to give them more. WWE, I feel like, does a really good job with continuity, where they could start something on Monday and it can bleed into Friday or vice versa. You know what I mean? It doesn't have.
Yeah.
I can't really say that they're great with continuity, but
they can be. They're better. They're better at it than AEW is.
And there's potential there now. I'm not going to get into that aspect of it because that's just another fight coming. But so Friday being a 2-hour premium show, it gives you a nice springboard into, hey, you like what you see here? It was a lot of action. You can come watch a recap of it on Monday for about an hour and then there might be like another hour of wrestling, and then there's like another hour of commercials. But at least you have a nice springboard for Friday to sell you on Monday.
So
and then
listen,
you find out it's shit.
I'm glad that you both shit all over the way that Monday Night Raw is ran as a television show, right? Because I have a fan broken down synopsis of the last hour of the show. Okay.
This week, because it was they saved up their commercial breaks for the last hour.
I'm gonna read this entire fucking thing.
Please do.
And let's just discuss it as we go, because it's a very, very lengthy list. Now, this is a breakdown of Monday Night Raw from this past Monday that I have not seen yet. Truth be told, as Tom would say, you guys both know I'm dealing with a little bit of shit right now. So I've not had a chance to sit down and watch this. However, this is wild, and I'm glad that you both brought this point up, because we're going to talk about it. 10:14 to 10:47. So that's like 35-ish minutes of the last
33.
hour. It's like the beefy part of the,
it's the last hour. This is what I stayed up late for.
Right. Exactly. Okay. So 10:15, recapping the Judgment Day feud with AJ, Finn, and Liv Morgan. At 10:15, Liv makes her entrance. Hell in a Cell promo for the Raw Women's title match at 10:16. 10:17, commercial break. Okay. So there's
one commercial break.
One commercial break. So this is where things start to get
two advertisements for future events.
Yes. Here's where things start to get interesting. Okay. They come back from commercial break at 10:20, and there's a promo of Titus at the Indianapolis 500. Got to hit that PR, especially with Special Olympics and National Games coming up. Titus is a brand ambassador. We all know that. Blah, 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 blah. Right. Got to get your PR. All right. 10:21. They start to recap the Austin Theory and Mustafa Ali feud that happened earlier tonight at 9:50 p.m. So 30 minutes ago, roughly 30 minutes ago, they're giving you a flashback. Okay. Now, Derek has been quoted on this show numerous times talking about the recaps of the show. And he even talked about it today. So there's one for you. So now I've given you guys both something to gripe about here. Okay. So then at 10:22, we cut to a backstage interview with Mustafa Ali, where he is then attacked by Austin Theory.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
At 10:23, they cut to the announce desk for the reactions of what they just saw. So, I'm sure Jimmy Smith was like, "Oh, Theory just did beat the shit out of Mustafa Ali," and Corey Graves was like, "Excellent."
No, Corey Graves said, "No, he just handled some business. He just, Corey Graves brushes it under the table like they were just talking."
But he's very much the Mr. Burns of that table.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
you know what I mean. So
yeah.
Then at 10:24, they give a complete rundown of the Hell in a Cell match card, top to bottom. 10:25, cut back to Liv, still standing in the ring with her music playing.
Liv's been standing there
10 minutes.
Liv's been standing there for 10 minutes, not doing anything.
She's throwing t-shirts out to the crowd and shit, apparently.
By herself. Just
you can only go over to the ropes and lean over and wave so many times.
At this point, she is so lonely.
And she's just, starting to do awkward things like bounce around or stretch and pull on the ropes, just make it look like she's engaged in what she's doing, when in reality, she's like, "Will somebody fucking walk down this entrance ramp already?"
Why did they send me down here?
What the fuck is going on?
Why am I here? Why did they send me? It was so she could get a really good view of what was going on the Titantron. Instead of watching it on the little monitors back in Gorilla.
And from that standpoint, now she's in the ring, she's doing her thing, right? That keeps the live crowd like, okay, we're doing something, because there's this stall here, right? But still, we're at 10 minutes, and poor Liv's out there by herself. Okay. 10,
I mean, I'm sure at this point nobody's shocked how any of this works. Like, she walks out there and they she knows she's gonna stand there by herself for 10 minutes. And, so I'm sure nobody's shocked at how but you're right. Just to read it out loud and even to think about it when it's happening, it's ridiculous.
Oh, we're not done yet. We still got.
Oh, I know.
We still got 21 minutes more of television.
I watched the show live. I know. Okay, I watched it live.
So at 10:26, Rhea's entrance, which is cut off because they flip to a graphic that says the match is happening next, and they go to a commercial break.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
so
actually
now
Nice.
Liv's been standing in the ring 11 minutes, and they go to commercial. Okay. 10:30, they come back from commercial, immediately into a Money in the Bank promo about the location move, and that tickets go on sale Friday.
Yeah.
10:30, they also bump to the announce desk for a Memorial Day segment, followed by a lengthy video package.
Oh my God.
This is actually where I shut it off and went to bed. I was like, all right, okay.
4 minutes has gone by. They pan to the crowd, and the crowd's chanting, USA, USA, USA. And Liv Morgan's in the ring going, can somebody ring the fucking bell? Like, I don't get paid by the hour.
At this point, this has to be they have to be ribbing her, right? Like, they sent her to the ring to like rib her, right? It was
like,
not.
There's something here.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
This fucking segment is so mistimed.
Like,
somebody's just absolutely absurd.
Like, somebody's laughing. Vince is laughing his balls off back in Gorilla about how funny it is.
Look at that hot blonde standing in the middle of my ring.
I set her out there 15 minutes ago, pal.
Oh, that's good shit.
Yeah.
All
He's
right.
left.
So come back. All right. 10:35, the bell finally rings, and Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley start their match 20 minutes after Liv's entrance.
I hope she talked to everybody in the front row at Raw. They all got to meet Liv Morgan. It was the meet and greet. And then that happened. That's how all that happened.
So then 2 minutes into this match, they go to fucking commercial. 3 minutes later, come back to an NXT 2.0 promo. 10:41, they finally pan back to the match. 3 minutes later, Liv Morgan wins. 10:45, there's post-match shenanigans, and at 10:47, they give the recap of Seth and Cody from earlier in the night. What a great 30 minutes of TV that is right there.
That's why it's that last hour of Raw is like it's rough, because also the other thing about Raw too is that like you can either watch the first 2 hours and be interested, or you can like I saw or you can like just tune in for the last hour. They'll tell you everything that happened for the last 2 hours, and then something else you'll see the main event. And
I'll tell you what, boys, the
whatever.
last hour of Raw is a cruel mistress. At times, it's worth it. If I stayed up late to watch that, I'm not happy.
So I think that once we discuss it, and you know we've been talking about this ad nauseum for months on end, right? Once you like really break that down and you see what that's all about, and you speak that from text, it's like, this is nuts. Okay, this brand split has got to go. Like,
it's got to go. Yeah.
You could fill all of that time so much more effectively in a 3-hour show if you're trying to tell the same story, just on a larger scale.
Yeah.
So,
and
I mean, go ahead.
And the whole Judgment Day thing is I mean, that's a major storyline, right? Like, that's really the storyline that's like trying to be the biggest. That's like the biggest storyline. That and Cody and Seth. So, you know, we're all curious. I think really the thing from Hell in a Cell is going to be, you know, the thing everybody's tuning in to see is, oh, well, who's going to turn on who next? Who's going to become the next person to join Judgment Day and defect from, you know, is it going to be somebody new who's not in either of these, you know, teams moving forward, or is it going to be, is Finn Balor going to turn on AJ Liv or something like that. That would maybe be kind of cool. But who knows, right? Who knows what'll happen? But I think that's really the thing. But that's all they had left. They were out of shit. So they're like, well, stall. Liv, go out there. Stall. It's like, did they cut something? Was something cut from the end of the show? Was there like, were we supposed to see somebody else? Was something else supposed to happen? And like that just didn't happen. Was MJF supposed to be there, but he didn't come? You know what
it was? Vince is sitting back there going, this worked so much better in the 90s whenever we had titties and Sable would go out. She could stand there for 15 minutes, pal.
Well, she could. Or they could send Triple H out there with DX, and he'd be like, remember that? Remember that? It worked. He would do it for 10 minutes at a time sometimes. And it was insane. It was every week. And it was like, oh, well, I got to stay up for that. But they can't do that anymore. So now Vince doesn't know what to do to how to fill that end. And that's when Raw was only 2 hours. So I don't know. I feel like the end of the brand split's going to be good. I'm ready for it. I'm glad they unified the men's titles. I don't know what they're going to do with the women's titles. I mean, they've sort of been Becky was Becky 2 belts for a little while there. So they've, somebody's already held both Raw and women's championship belts, but I don't know. Do they combine everything? Because clearly, I mean, I think it was the right decision to put everything on the Bloodline. And I think that's been really cool. I really hope they consolidate the belts too. I don't know if they will, but
I've been talking for like 10 minutes and didn't realize that my microphone was muted.
Oh, yeah, well, did it to yourself, pal.
Hey, man, shit happens when you party naked. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. Anyway, yeah, end of the brand split. Let's do that. What else we got to talk about?
Hey, so, obviously Sunday was Double or Nothing, and I'd like to kind of hit on the card.
Let's talk about the card before we talk about MJF particularly. Oh, is that a Baja Blast?
It is a Baja Blast.
It's a fine choice, sir.
It is. It's just Mountain Dew mixed with Blue Powerade, right?
I mean, it's love, whatever it is.
It's Mountain Dew and Blue Powerade. That's literally amazing. What it is. Yeah, mix that.
You can do it. I would do fruit punch, like high C fruit punch, and Sprite. That was my drink of choice.
Sounds like diabetes.
Well, I needed energy. I was
energy.
Yeah, I had to bake that bread like crazy, man.
Diabetes to you, Jim.
All right, so I saw a tweet today too, and I'm paraphrasing here, but we just talked about Monday Night Raw, and now we're getting ready to talk about Double or Nothing. I guess a lot of people were complaining about the runtime on Double or Nothing.
It was like 5.5 hours. It was really long.
And somebody had tweeted out, "Hey man, like I don't want to hear you complain about the runtime of a pay-per-view whenever you sit your happy ass down in front of the TV every Monday and watch 3 hours of Monday Night Raw."
Yep.
I mean, this was almost 6 hours though. Like I wouldn't watch Monday Night Raw twice.
There's a lot of shit.
Nobody asked
right?
you to sit down and watch the whole thing at one time. Plus, you paid $50 real life dollars. You paid $50 real life dollars.
Oh, did you?
It happens 4 times a year.
Oh, did you?
It's not like we have a premium live event every month. Sometimes multiple times in a month.
Oh, here comes the AEW mark. Oh, there was a pay-per-view. So
are you pissed that for my $50, I got $60 worth of content? I got 2 Monday Night Raws for $50.
Marky Markson up here is fucking getting his AEW.
Marky Mark and the Marky Bunch. Is that what's going on here?
So listen, while the runtime may have been long, overall,
it's nitpicky.
The card was pretty good.
It was pretty stacked. I mean, it was a stacked card. I didn't watch it in one sitting. To be fair, I watched it in like 3 sittings.
I watched it in 1 1/4 sittings. We'll call it. So let's just go ahead. So we'll start at the top, right? And then we'll get into we can.
All right. Well, there's a lot of card. We don't want this show to go 6.5 hours.
Sorry, I had an itchy itch.
All
right. Okay. So we started off the show with the buy-in. All right. Hookhausen
taking
on Tony Nese and Smart Mark Sterling. Hookhausen picks up the win when Danhausen gets the pin
on Smart Mark Sterling.
Damn.
Yeah. It was a good buy-in. I feel like as far as buy-ins are concerned, they've really been, the last two have been very, very good in different ways. The first one was like was it Death Triangle versus the House of Black.
Yes,
I think that was the last one. That one was that was they were trying to steal the show with that one, and then for this one they weren't trying to steal the show, but like the pop that Hook got, the pop that Danhausen got. I mean, you want to talk about the crowd like flipping out, being excited about it. They blew the lid off the place. So the match itself was fine. It was good.
Yeah, I mean, so listen. So here's the thing, right? I come in here every AEW pay-per-view and I talk about the buy-in. Okay. Every single one. And I circle back to the exploding barbed wire death match card. What was that? Was that All Out?
Yeah, I think so.
Derek and I sat down to watch that, and the buy-in was like a random like 15 women like in a fatal 15-way match, very AEW-esque on the buy-in, and it's like
a smattering of women.
Smattering.
And I remember looking at Derek and going, "Hey man, if we hadn't already bought this right here would not make me want to buy this show."
We did discuss that. And then I bought the fucking t-shirt.
However, I think that if you're trying to hook a casual fan, this is how you do it.
Oh yeah, for sure. You send the guys because Danhausen's like a meme at this point, and so people are gonna be like, "Oh, let's see who this Danhausen fella is," and Hook's a star, baby. Hook's a star. So you send them out there. The crowd explodes, and they win. So I mean, it's you've maybe seen Tony Nese before. He was a WWE guy for a while.
Very underrated.
Either
WWE
way, though,
guy.
Danhausen is very recognizable. It's a great hook for the public relations department.
Yeah,
I was not trying to steal off your pun there, but that's a great move for a free match that you can see to get me to go ahead and watch the show.
And it was cool too because like it's one of those things where it's like we haven't seen Danhausen wrestle yet, so you don't have to buy the pay-per-view to see it. You just watch the buy-in to see it, and then you find out he's actually a decent wrestler. He's clearly not going to be. He's not going to be challenging for the world title anytime soon. But
yeah, we're not watching wrestling skills though. He's definitely there for his character work. Yeah. Sorry, Tom, you were skipping there, so I thought you stopped talking. So that's why I jumped in on you. I apologize, buddy.
You're okay. Good buy-in. Did we lose Walt forever or?
No, he's eating. He's back. You can't see that? There he is.
Yeah, I'm eating.
Why are you not an administrator in here? Okay. Sorry.
I don't know. I'm not even logged in. So anyway, after that is the match that marked out the world that all of they worked the journalists MJF and Wardlow. We could talk about that later.
Let's just right past that.
And then it was the Young Bucks versus the Hardys.
So it was the greatest tag team in all of AEW versus the Young Bucks.
They took an L.
The Bucks took a clean L in the middle of the ring. Jeff looked hurt. And apparently Jeff is hurt and has been banged up since that Darby Allin match.
Stop doing stupid shit. And you won't.
The one that was clearly like why was that a hardcore match? It was the only hardcore match in that entire Owen Hart Cup tournament. Randomly,
it's just because it was Jeff Hardy and Darby Allin.
It was the only one. But now it's like, oh well, Jeff got hurt in that, but then he worked hurt because
stop doing stupid shit.
I mean, obviously, like this clearly looked like, they played stupid games and he won a stupid prize. the match itself was fine.
I mean, how old is this guy? He's like 65, and he's jumping.
He's like 47.
75 foot ladders out of the middle of the ring, doing fucking tope double seatas into fucking 32 tables. Through
they were chairs. They were chairs.
Whatever. Like,
yeah.
Fuck, man. Like,
yeah,
bro, you're not 25 anymore. Like,
no, even if you're 25,
you shouldn't have done it then.
There was no reason to do that at 25, and it's like, oh yeah, Jeff's been really banged up since that match. And in addition to that, he's had yet another Owen Hart finals like tournament showing. He had where he got beat, and then he had he's done some indie dates lately because he and Matt are on their retirement tour. So he's done some indie dates as well. And then he did this match where he looked beat the hell up.
Hey, don't forget he jumped off of a 55-foot window.
Well, that's because Sting told him, dude, if you don't do it, I'm gonna.
Through 75 fucking tables onto a concrete floor. Stop doing stupid
shit. He truly
shit.
did. I saw it.
He really did.
It's gotta be real. Dave Meltzer said so.
Stop doing stupid shit.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I would say it was a pretty poor match overall. Especially just with the rest of the card. This is really, to me, where the pay-per-view started to like kind of slag off.
Listen,
because
Bleacher Report
it was only match 2.
Gave this a B-.
What's CBS gave it a C-. I didn't like. What? I agree with CBS. I think this was I think it was a stinker. They were struggling. Matt and Jeff were struggling, and it was painfully obvious. Next was TBS Championship, Jade Cargill versus Anna Jay. This wasn't great. This maybe could have been cut and put on TV, if I'm being honest. And then
before we move further with that argument, does it really though matter how you're getting for your value of your dollar?
Well, but we're talking about an almost 6-hour show here, and truthfully, like, for the TBS championship, I would like to see it defended on TBS. If we're gonna be nitpicky about it, this is
nitpicky about it. This is insane.
That's what I said. If I'm being nitpicky about it, which I am, dude, we're doing like, what do you think you do on a wrestling podcast? You be nitpicky about stuff. Anyway, it was kind of it was a made for TV match. It would have been a perfectly good TV match. But it was not pay-per-view quality. And however, what overshadowed the match is afterwards, Malcolm Bivens shows up. So he looks like he's going to be Jade's mouthpiece now. I can't remember what they called him, but
something Stokely.
Yeah, Stokely. But so Malcolm Bivens showed up, which is fantastic. And then so did Athena, formerly Ember Moon. So it's like, that was better. That was better, I think, than the match itself, because it's like, it's cool to see him, because I think Malcolm Bivens is one of the most hilarious dudes ever, and I think I would so much rather him get a microphone every week. Like, he's gonna make those Jade Cargill segments far and away better.
Yeah.
Like that's the perfect move. If you're dead set on strapping the rock to Jade Cargill and she's a star, which that seems to be the way they're going with it. And I mean, I can't disagree with them. She's got the look. And
looks like $1 million.
Look, yeah. And her wrestling's fine. Like, it's very, like, her wrestling's very,
it's
very
gotten much better.
It's not, I can't say any of it's been bad. It's not like, oh my God, she's one of the best workers in the world. It's just it's not bad. Anna Jay, I thought their last match was better. Jade versus Anna Jay. I thought the last one was better. But,
Anna Jay's really been a disappointment. I think she should have come along further than what she is.
I think since she and Tay Conti aren't a thing anymore, I thought
she looked great in that match.
She did. Look, she looked fine, but I just don't think, like, what are they going to do with, like, what have they done with Anna Jay?
She's not going to be a superstar. She's not Britt Baker. She's not going to come out here and no.
Yeah, what have they done with the Dark Order?
Not. Yeah,
they literally fired they let like the number 2 Dark Order. It was like Evil Uno and What was
Stu Grayson?
Stu Grayson. They let Stu Grayson go. Like he and Evil Uno were the Super Smash Brothers. Like that's their gimmick. And like half of them are gone now. Now Dark Order is just a bunch of other random chooches. Which, don't get me wrong, I like John Silver. But it's not the same as it used to be. But yeah, all the Athena and Malcolm Bivens showing up is that was top tier.
Yeah, it's great. And now we have diversity. So I hope that Big Swole will be happy about that.
Yes, exactly.
Because it wasn't about your wrestling ability. You were great.
Well, so here's the thing. Other two is then we got House of Black versus Death Triangle, which was the buy-in for the last pay-per-view, but now it's like smack dab sort of in the middle of this.
Buddy, this shit was turned up to 11.
It was. I mean, this was almost the best match on the show last time, and this was a banger. I get like these guys, they got some chemistry. I'm not like WWE does this all the time where they keep rolling out the same match. Like that's exactly what WrestleMania Backlash is. It's like, here's a bunch of rematches from your favorite matches at WrestleMania. But this rematch, when I saw it was on the card, I'm like, that's gonna be sweet. Even though I've already seen this once, I was like, this is gonna be sweet. And
I'd like to see the sequel.
Yeah, I'm good with watching that again. House of Black won. It was really good. I love the Julia Hart.
I was going to say, man, we got to talk about the Julia Hart segment.
I love it. I loved it.
How great was that?
I loved it.
I've been waiting for this heel turn to come, and finally, he's going to move away from the Varsity Blondes, who I think had a nice, solid run, and they're a good tag team. Other than there is obviously that Griff Garrison is the weakest link there. He's
a weak link, buddy.
He's not great on the mic. He can work all right, but he's not great on the mic. Julia Hart coming out with this, selling it for months, and then the big turn. I love that.
Yeah,
I mean, it wasn't a big turn. Like they've been teasing it for a month.
But hold on, because here's the thing. Because you could gripe about this because they turned the lights off, which is one of those things where somebody's gonna complain like, what? Who? Why does she get access to the light switch? Like who gave her access to the light switch?
You know what? And here's the thing, right? And me is like at my core the markiest of marks, right? Lights went out and I was like, oh, here comes fucking Bray Wyatt.
If only, right? If only.
That'd have been cool.
And then it was Julia Hart. But hey, speaking of Bray Wyatt, did you guys see that on Twitter he changed his name back to Bray Wyatt?
Yeah, I saw. I think he's going back. I think he just did that. I think they released him so he could film that horror movie that clearly wasn't a WWE affiliate thing, and I think they're bringing it back.
I mean, as long as they don't fuck it up.
Did they change? Did you change it back to Bray? I think you just changed it back to Bray.
Whatever. I don't. I just.
But yeah, I think he's going back to WWE.
Up, buddy. There's no way.
I think he's going back to WWE.
I don't know. He's been in the wrestling news an awful lot in the past couple of weeks for how he used to disagree with Vince McMahon over creative and how Vince would poke fun at him whenever they disagreed about creative, and now all this is going on with changing his name but yeah, dude, for sure the lights went out and I was like, oh, it's fucking Bray Wyatt. It fucking makes perfect sense.
Because he's one of the only other guys that gets access to the light switches.
Yeah, it's
like him and Malachi Black get access to the light switches. That's it.
They each have keys.
They're the only ones with the light switch. But that key to the lockbox that has the light switch in it.
There's a shady janitor that you have to meet at a certain time on the third floor.
There's a shady janitor that lives in the boiler room, and he shuts the lights off for just his buddies, his boiler room hangout buddies. He was friends with Kane. He was friends with Kane back in the day.
You should make that a fucking thing. And Mankind comes out and shuts off the lights.
Yeah, he was friends with Mankind too. When Mankind would hang out in the boiler rooms and have mental breakdowns. Have a nice day.
Listen, the ending was great. I really appreciated the Julia Hart thing.
The black mist into Pac's eyes, that was great.
Malachi Black, great. hitting the triple black mass. And then they get the win. Man, is it time? Like, is it time for AEW to give us the trios titles? I know, like, we shit all over that idea like a year and a half ago.
I still think it's a shitty idea.
I see. I just don't like.
I think it'll be cool. Like at first, like the first introduction of it will be cool, and then like after that, it will suck. For like it'll be the worst segment.
But will it suck? Because here's the thing, though.
It'll
you got to remember, AEW focuses pretty highly on larger tag team type matches, so this is like built into their DNA.
Their tag teams, their tag team champions suck right now.
Well, yeah, that's their own fault. They had a chance to remedy that situation, which we'll talk about here in a minute, but they chose not to.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. We'll just wait. Hurry up and wait, I guess. But it's yet to be determined what's going to happen. All right. So now moving on, we've got the Owen Hart Foundation Men's Tournament Final. What a fucking fantastic match! Samoa Joe and Adam Cole.
I loved it.
In the finals of this match. A lot of people were pissed off that Samoa Joe took the L here.
Well, they kept him. I mean, Bobby Fish came out and grabbed his arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean there was some interference.
They kept it respectable, but like,
yeah. I don't know. I thought it was fine. I think that I kind of thought Adam Cole was going to win. I think maybe that's the thing is that I was expecting Adam Cole to beat Joe.
Well, listen, when Adam Cole came out wearing the pink and black trunks, I knew all bets were fucking off. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And they did not disappoint.
No.
But man, what a great match! First time those guys ever.
Yeah, well, remember, Joe choked Adam Cole out in NXT.
Yeah,
but nothing came of that ever because they were both gone shortly after that.
Yep.
You're right. I mean, that was when I started watching it because that was the real reason I wanted it. It was like, oh my god, these are like two of my favorite wrestlers of the last decade. Let's see them go at it. And they didn't disappoint. Not that I thought they would have. It was great. I liked that they kept Joe strong by throwing in a little bit of interference.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's on right now. I'm hoping there's some Joe addresses that tonight. I think that would be great.
I'm sure that he will. And I just, Derek, like, obviously that was a big part of the show, and I'm just looking to get your thoughts on it.
What are we
Joe
talking about?
Joe and Adam Cole, baby.
Yeah. So a lot of the show I was actually unable to watch due to my wonderful internet. I texted you about this. You don't have to act like you didn't realize that. So I only saw sections of the pay-per-view. I also tried to find it on Dish and pay like a normal human and wasn't able to do that as well.
Dude, when are you going to move to the real world?
I'm still waiting on my Starlink, buddy. It says mid-2022. I check it every day. It's now mid officially. June 1st is mid to September 30th.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we're in the
We're in the middle quarter.
If
that was a thing. Middle quarter.
Have you written a strongly worded letter to Elon Musk about the quality of your service?
I'll just tweet him. That seems to get to him faster. He's
calm down up there, Bischoff. Okay.
Anywho,
Eric, I just knew you weren't paying attention, so I just set you up to fucking fail.
I knew you were gonna do that. Like, yeah. Whenever you were saying the question to me, I was like, "You're."
And Tom had just like tailed off of his little shtick about the match, and I had to get you.
Yeah,
I was talking to the wife. I apologize.
But Adam Cole actually like legitimately got hurt in that match.
Yeah,
he did.
Yep, it's all over the interwebs.
He was able to stand there and take pictures with Britt afterwards. That match actually was right after the Britt versus Ruby. Yep. I thought that was tremendous too. That was better than their first meeting.
Yep,
dude, I wanted to die during that whole thing. That was terrible. The live entrances, this is
Rancid. Literally, Rancid played her in.
That's stupid. I don't know who the fuck Rancid is, nor do I care.
Whoa!
They look like washed up old dudes.
Whoa.
No,
Oh my
not into
god!
it.
All right, never mind.
No,
Wow!
don't care.
Wow.
That music
Derek.
sucks.
Derek, tell me
Wow.
Tell me
What
you're
a-
a class. Tell me you're a classless chooch without telling me you're a
I'm a
you're class-
classless chooch when it comes to punk rock. I
Holy
think.
crap!
Stupid.
Holy crap!
Wow.
Anyway,
I didn't understand why they had the guitar player from Fozzy though play out Britt Baker. Like it just was the most like disconjointed random thing. And I was like, well, clearly Rancid's gonna play Ruby Soho out, but like, why is this a thing?
Because they were there.
I mean, I'm good. Like I feel like they ruined that whole thing. But hey,
Really?
listen, that match was awesome. You are absolutely right. Way better than that first mishmash they put together. Wow.
Well, I thought, and I think the crowd booed this, but this was like kind of the point of that. When Ruby put her into the sharpshooter, and then Britt Baker ended up getting to roll up into the pin through that. I mean, you want to talk about getting heat? That's a way to get heat. Now that would have got a big pop in Pittsburgh, and it would have blown the place off. There was some boos. You could tell the crowd wanted Ruby to win, but
yeah,
it was pretty tremendous.
So Bleacher Report asks a great question here, and I'm going to ask it to you guys. Coming off of like this crazy tournament, and she's lost 3 big time matches. Where do you go with Ruby Soho from here?
I don't know. That's so when she first got to AEW, like that's her thing was not like, and they made her a white meat baby face. I'm like, but why? Her thing is being a ragdoll because she's the one that, in my opinion, between her and Liv Morgan and Sarah Rowe, what was her Sarah? She's Logan. Sarah Logan. Yeah, but anyway, she's Rowe's wife. But so they they really got, in my opinion, Ronda Rousey over just by sort of being punching bags, and that's sort of Ruby's thing is that like, she does the ragdoll thing, right? Liv does it really well too, and gets tossed, bumps, tumbles. She's probably the best bumper in the women's division, period. So it makes sense to beat her.
I disagree.
In these. Who do you think bumps better than her in AEW? Women.
You just said in the entire women's division. You didn't say just AEW.
No, AEW. She's the best bumper in the AEW women's division.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it makes sense to beat her, but at the same time, like, why are you beating a white meat baby face over and over and over again? She was a heel when they beat her in WWE, and that made sense. They'd show up and start a riot. I don't know. It was I think maybe a heel turn. I think you got to do something with her.
Derek, what about you, bud? What do you think they got to do with Ruby Soho to save face here?
Fellas, I gave 0 shits about Ruby Soho whenever she was in WWE. I continue to give 0 shits about Ruby Soho now.
Bro, the crowd really wanted her to win this. Like they really did. This was set up to be her crowning like achievement in AEW to this point. And they just kind of, and I understand Britt Baker could have lost that match and all would have been right in the women's division because she'd have came out next week. She'd have done something to get right back in the thick of things. She's been the champion for a really, really long time. I think that it's okay to knock her down a couple of pegs to have her build herself back up and
what would have,
and utilize that to continue to elevate somebody like a Ruby Soho. Because at the end of the day, Dr. Britt's gonna be fine.
Yeah, it's about time for her to start paying off to other people. Give them a little bit of the rub. She's definitely had her time in the sun and has for a long time. I think it's kind of stupid.
She deserves to be there.
Yeah, it's great. And she's done a great job. But now let's pay that off and use your newfound, stardom, you might as well say, and rub it off a little bit over here. It's fine. I'm not saying that I love Ruby Soho. I really don't care. I think, honestly, what would have been better storyline-wise, if we're going to fancy book here a little bit, let's say Ruby Soho wins and Adam Cole wins, and then whenever they have the trophy presentation, Ruby Soho's kind of just, kind of hanging on Adam Cole a little bit and just screwing with,
Maybe.
Dr. Britt. Why would you not? Because then now we've got a little feud going there still. They can continue that for a little longer if you want to. Telling her what, I won the title with your husband. I won the tournament with your husband. Blah, blah, blah.
They're not married. They're not married.
Well, whatever. Boyfriend.
Whatever.
AEW likes to oversell their relationship stuff. I'm really over that. I really don't like
But
the
seriously, though, I mean, I think that's a good thing that needs to be talked about, right? Like, Tom, like, do you think that it's time for Dr. Britt to, like, maybe, I don't want to use the
some L's?
phrase, take a back seat, but I think it's time for her to look at the lights a couple of times here.
Well, and you're right. I do think that I would. I expected Britt Baker to win, especially right after Adam Cole won.
And she wore the pink and black tights.
And she wore the pink and black tights. But so I expect it. I guess what I expect to happen and what is best to happen is they're not mutually exclusive things. So would it have been better had Ruby won? Yeah, probably. Because Ruby needs a win. Like what? I mean, I'm sure she's won on Dark, but nobody watches that shit.
Yeah, she needed a big, high-profile win, and
she needed
this
a pay-per-view.
Was the one.
She needed a pay-per-view win. They beat her on every pay-per-view. She needed a pay-per-view win, and this was it. I mean, I don't know. Unless you're gonna immediately, dump her off and have her beat Jade Cargill, which I don't think they're gonna do. No. This was your opportunity to beat a high profile, Britt Baker, and after they put together a banger of a match, and have it be her moment in the sun, but they didn't give us that. So,
And then listen, I'm so pumped that AEW is honoring Owen Hart because Owen's wife Martha would never let WWE do anything like this, right? So it's great that Owen Hart gets to, has the opportunity to get his flowers, so to speak, right? But I don't think that I need Martha Hart to give a 90-minute speech during a trophy presentation.
I actually didn't watch that.
Well, you got to give Martha Hart her time to say whatever she needs to say, and there's not a single normal human that would actually look at that and be like, no, I'm going to tell her no.
Yeah.
Seriously, you would look Martha Hart in the face and tell her no.
No.
Well, I had read that Tony Khan bought an extra hour of pay-per-view time just to alleviate any stress on the back end for Martha Hart's speech.
Yeah. I mean, I think that you're and I saw that too, but I think that plays into the criticism of it being too long of a pay-per-view, and I think that this maybe was one of those things that made it a little too long. And at the same time, though, I agree with Derek. What are you going to tell her no? Like at this point, like you're backed into a corner. I feel like you just got to take it on the chin. And you know what? At the end of the day, was it the worst thing in the world? No. It was fine. It was what it was. The next match, though, I kind of didn't even. I feel like I've been watching a lot of AEW, and I don't know what. Maybe they set this up on like a Friday or something, and I missed it. Yeah. But Kyle O'Reilly versus Darby Allin. Where'd that come from? When this match started to happen, I was like, why are they fighting? Why? What's going on?
That was they just kind of, hey, here we go, have this.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good match. I just don't know why it was here. Did this have any build? Did this have build that I missed somewhere?
No, it didn't. And it was a good match. And
it was a good match. I don't know why it was there though.
I'm glad that it happened. But the funny thing is, Tom, you skipped a match to get into this match that actually had a build. That actually had a build.
PVZ and
wasn't a good match.
No. Although Tay Conti got kicked again.
Yes.
this time by Sammy.
Well, if you remember correctly, when they won the the mixed gender tag team titles at AAA, he kicked her in the face too.
Yeah, that happened too there.
So, but
I mean,
yeah,
this
so
was
that
basically
match
the
is
same.
not worth talking about.
No, I mean this match stunk. It stunk to join up. I don't know what they're doing with Sammy. I feel like he's capable of really good matches, but for some reason he's decided that he's not going to do those anymore. So I guess it's like he's the artist formerly known as Sammy Guevara, because he can go back to the Panda Head now, I suppose. Because this was
Buddy, I'm all
Head.
for you to have a love interest. Obviously Anna Jay and Jungle Boy are boyfriend girlfriend. That's great.
They were. I don't know that they still are.
You don't. Whatever. You don't need to bring that into TV, and I feel like that was a hugest mistake right there. Sammy tied an anchor to himself and just ruined the trajectory he was on. I feel like, I mean, maybe there's other people that are more passionate about this whole, relationship thing. I really don't see where that needs to be part of the storyline myself.
It ain't the fans. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
But anyway, we talked about Kyle and Darby. I don't know why it was there. Thunder Rosa versus Serena Deeb was really good, though. Really, I enjoyed it. Yeah. It was because their last meeting was sloppy, and I guess was that the one where Thunder Rosa was hurt. Their last meeting was sloppy.
No. They have never had a sloppy match. You're thinking about Thunder Rosa and Sheeta having that shit.
That's right. That
fucking pain in the ass.
That's because Sheeta's sloppy. But it was fun. It was good. Thunder Rosa won. I mean, she's only been the champ for a little while, so I expected that.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's only also had 13 minutes of TV time, so I mean,
yeah, it's been pretty lackluster. It's basically the Hangman Page of women's wrestling.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, Johnny Elite's back. Look at that.
Moving on.
Jericho Appreciation Society versus Eddie Kingston, Santana Ortiz, Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley. Anarchy in the arena, because it can't be the Stadium Stampede because Moxley said that was stupid. So it's the same thing, but not. And it was a hardcore match. This was the you get one. This was your garbage match on. Although I do appreciate that in what was more or less a death match, Eddie Kingston did attempt murder. He really did attempt murder. Now, Bryan Danielson stopped him from lighting Chris Jericho on fire with gasoline and killing him. But he at least attempted murder in a death match. So
it's a good thing Joey Janela wasn't there, because he'd have caught that motherfucker on fire.
All he would have had to have done is walk by, set the whole fucking ring on fire.
Yeah.
He's still trying to put his fucking foot out.
But oh, look, Miro's on TV. Miro's cutting a promo. He's coming back soon, apparently.
Yeah,
okay.
We'll see.
Yeah. It's only been a year.
That elbow, man. I just...
It's because he's yanking his knob too hard.
Wait, honey, you made how much money on OnlyFans last week? Oh, yeah. We might have to go get
my
this.
My arm still hurts.
It's
all that counting.
Yeah. Listen,
all the counting of the cash.
I want to give Derek... I want to give Derek an opportunity to talk about this because this is right up his alley, and then I have my opinion on it too. So, Derek,
wait, hold on before you get to him, the Jericho Appreciation Society came out dressed up like the Backstreet Boys, and all I could think about when they were walking to the ring, yes, that's all I could think about.
One.
That's all I can think about.
Desire.
It's too late.
Oh, he's back. There he is.
Thank you.
Hey, Miro's back. We're redeeming
Fuck you, Tom.
his balls
you don't even know.
Now. Anyway,
we're over here serenading you with our sweet sounding melodic voices, and you're watching fucking Dynamite. What's the matter with you?
It's a good thing America's Got Talent didn't used to be around in our heyday, because we'd have lit that bitch on fire.
We'd be big stars right now.
We'd be gone.
Hey, so Derek, listen, seriously though, the Anarchy in the arena match, bud. Like I know you were all over this.
It's right up my alley, as you said. It's what I look forward to now every year, because I've been conditioned to look forward to this match at the Double or Nothing pay-per-view. I don't understand, Tom. Like, what is wrong with you? Why do you not like good things?
It's just
why? What is wrong with it?
I didn't say it was. I didn't say it was bad. I just said that.
You said it was a garbage match.
You
I mean, it
literally
is a
said it was
garbage
garbage. There's got to be some sort of garbage every show.
So
this was it.
You're missing the point. These types of matches, I refer to them as garbage matches. It's not that the match itself was garbage. It's just that this is a garbage match.
It's still a negative connotation, though, sir.
Well, I'm being negative about its connotation
by calling your honesty.
But what had happened here was
what had happened was,
at least at this point, at least in this one, there was an attempted murder, and I have to admit I really enjoyed it when Eddie Kingston walked out in the shirt that he
looked like the fucking Brooklyn Brawler.
Just bloody.
Yeah, it was on.
Carrying a can of gasoline. I mean, I chuckled. It made me giggle.
There was a look about his blooded face that made me think it was going to happen that night.
I enjoyed I enjoyed that spot quite a bit.
His facials did tell that story, like when he was coming down. Like he did a really, really good job, like presenting himself for that. Because I was even like, ooh.
He's ready for murder.
He's got a
That's what a murder face.
Here comes murder.
Hey there, here comes Eddie Kingston there. Got the gas can. What's he gonna do with that? You know what I mean?
My God.
My God, what's he gonna do with that gas can?
But
my God.
Derek, I gotta agree with you. We've been conditioned that this is gonna happen, right? And then when Jericho was like, we're going to do the 3rd annual Stadium Stampede match. And Moxley was like, yeah, we're not doing that dumb shit.
They did it. They still did it.
The 5 of you were going to fight the 5 of us. But I think what's interesting about this is the first time that they've done this match live, right? Like it's been a theatrical match the last 2 years. And
it's true.
You could tell that like production didn't know what they wanted to do, right?
They had no idea. They kept cutting back to the ring, and there
was fighting everywhere.
Yeah, that wasn't the most Monday Night Raw, like collar elbow tie up cut scene that you've ever seen in your entire life. Because they'll show you a collar elbow tie up, fucking from 37 different angles, and right, and that's what, But they couldn't decide if they wanted to let the music play.
Yeah,
and they let Wild Thing play for like 15 minutes, and they're like, I think we got to stop doing that now. But I don't know, man. I thought that they did a good job executing it, right? Like in even from a TV perspective, I thought they did a good job shooting it. So like, it was just a little wild.
It was. The threat of a man being lit on fire is always impressive to me. After this, I feel like this is a bigger miss. The AEW Tag Team Championship. It's a bigger miss to not take it off Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus because they are literally the backseatest tag team champions that AEW has ever had. I'm pretty sure Luchasaurus doesn't talk, and Jungle Boy can't talk. Right, and Jungle Boy doesn't really talk so good. And they let Christian talk sometimes, but like even I don't really. That's sort of all a mess to me.
It's absolutely a mess, and they would have been better served to put the titles on Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland, or Team Taz. Like they had two solid outs here, and they chose not to take them.
Exactly. Both of those would have been good. I thought in my head going up like, oh, this is going on Team Taz. This has to go.
And you know what, like to me, like what this feels like, and Derek, I'm interested to get your opinion on this. This feels like, hey, like Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus are big enough names that they lend the titles some credibility while we put them on the back burner and we focus on like these like big time tag team matchups like the Bucks and the Hardys and possibly the Briscoes, like, joining AEW or doing something through Ring of Honor on AEW TV.
Yeah.
Like this to me is just, these guys are credible enough to hold these titles.
And they don't have to rip them off them to throw them on the Young Bucks again or on the FTR again.
So when they're ready to shift their focus back to tag team wrestling. So like, I kind of see that angle of it, but I mean, I don't know. I agree wholeheartedly. Like they're not it.
Big swing and a miss. I think it really would have been better served to put it on Team Taz. I feel like they've built Team Taz to this point enough that.
Although I am a fan of Swerve in his glory.
Oh, me too. Oh, look, I wouldn't. I love Keith Lee. I would have had, but they just got there, right? And AEW doesn't like to put it on guys that just got there. So I think the right call would have been to put it on Team Taz, and just do it because those guys are stars. I think
Ricky Starks.
He's a star. Hobbs is a star too.
Absolutely. You remember
Hobbs
whenever
shredded.
You remember whenever he became like prominent and he was just like this big, thick, chunky boy that like came to the ring with John Moxley one time, and then all of a sudden he was over.
Yeah.
And now he's on Team Taz and he's fucking shredded and he's like perfect in his role.
And he smashes dudes too. He's like his moveset is so believable, and he hits with so much power that it's really like it's a joy. Every time I see Powerhouse Hobbs, I'm like, I'm all right. I'm good. I'm ready to watch this. I'm excited to see this happen.
Absolutely. So let's move on to the main event. And like we have one more thing we got to talk about after this before we hit match of the week. So let's not fucking gush over this. All right. The AEW World Championship, Hangman Adam Page versus CM Punk. CM Punk gets the win and is your new AEW World Champion. We all believe that this was the right call.
Yeah, there was no doubt in my mind going into this. I'm like, God, if they keep it on Hangman now, it's because one, I mean, Hangman's been a boring champ, and you can't have your tag team champs be boring and your main champ be boring. The shows have been mostly about CM Punk anyway. Like At least it's hard now that it's over. It sucks to say because I didn't like Kenny's title run at all either, but Hangman has been the worst AEW champion, and it's not really all that close.
Now listen, and if you look at it,
there was absolutely no TV time for Hangman though. If you compare CM Punk's TV time amount to Adam Page during his title run's TV time amount, it's not even comparable. It's not even close.
No, it's not. You're right.
They gave him no chance, which is not fair. Not to say that he did not have a horrible run. It was terrible. But how do you go into
hit the rewind button?
No plan.
Circle back, hit the rewind button. You remember after he won the championship and he came out and he did his cowboy shit celebration?
Yeah.
And we talked about it. And I'm like, man, like I'm not excited for this. Like
the chase was great.
The chase was phenomenal.
But the rain was shitty.
We got that payoff, and that first promo coming out of that moment is a set the tone moment for us as the fan, right? And like, I just didn't feel it. And like, he had some really great matches, and he's had some really great feuds, but like, he was carried through those. When as the champion, I feel like you should be the one that's able to carry the feud. You should be the one that's able to carry the storyline, but he can't.
Yeah.
And he's been carried through 3 story feuds right now. And this last one, man, CM Punk gets a payoff because maybe they finally see it. Or maybe it's like Hogan winning the world championship when he switched heel and became NWO. It's the same thing, right?
Maybe. So I think the other thing to point out about this too is AEW tends to leave they don't hot shot the belts, right? They don't play hot potato with the belts, and that's a big criticism of WWE is that belts change hands too often. But I think it made AEW a little bit predictable because all those months back, however many months ago it was when Hangman won it's like, oh great, now he's going to be the champ for whatever 6-8 months now, and nobody's excited about this, but we got 6 to 8 months of this to go. Like they're not going to turn this around and quickly take it off of them. It's just not going to happen. And that's what happened. And it's happened. How CM Punk's the 5th champion? Am I right? Is he the 5th AEW champ? So I mean, they've done it 4 times now. The champ's been the champ for more than 6 months. He's he's been able to get through 4 or 5 title defenses, and it's been what it is. I think CM Punk's going to be a better. I do think CM Punk's going to be a good champ. I think that
it's going to put the belt on television. Every single day.
Yeah,
like
Like, I mean, I think it's a better idea. I think, I mean, he's going to be a better. He has been. We've seen CM Punk have good title reigns. I don't think has he had a bad one. Were any of his WWE title reigns bad? I feel like they were all pretty good.
I thought they were all pretty good.
No, buddy, it's the summer of Punk now.
Yeah, so I mean, I think
It's time.
I think he's probably going to have a good run. I would say his will probably be up there with Jericho's run and probably with Moxley's run as well. I would say at this point, those two guys have been the gold standard when it comes to AEW title reigns. And which stinks, not stinks, but it's like it just kind of goes to show you that like AEW just doesn't have that homegrown talent yet, because Kenny's was lesser than the two former WWE guys.
But you know what? It was only lesser because it told a different story that got us to where we're at today.
Sure.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the first two, I think that you as a longtime fan, right? Look at that, like it's a more traditional title reign where like there's no bullshit, right? But then Kenny comes and gets championship, and we get that independent champion reign that Cardona's on right now on the actual indies. And like Derek's into that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? So like the title runs are geared towards different segments of the fan base almost. And like that's okay
but
too.
It's still a TV show, right? And it's still got to draw eyeballs and ratings. And I think that an indie title reign where he's going out and doing all these other, because then he's been hurt. Now he's been hurt, and we hear that he may never be 100% again. He may never be able to come back and wrestle again because he worked hurt. He worked all these dates for all these different promotions.
Yeah, and he was already hurt. What did you want him to do? Just come in and say, "No, guys, I can't do that."
I'm just saying that, like, he sort of became the poster boy for why WWE doesn't let this shit happen. And we talked about this, 6-8 months ago when it was happening. So we don't have to like dig it back up now. I'm just saying that, I think it was the right call to put it on CM Punk's. I expect Punk's reign to be a very good to great. And I think that, I think it's good. And I'm interested to see what Hangman's going to do now. Too, because now that he's not the champ, like I want to see him when he was like everybody's drunk friend. Like I've liked basically everything Hangman's done. I've liked except for when he was the champion. Like everything leading up to him when he was the tag team champion. I liked that. It is what it is. But overall, I thought it was a good show. A little bit long, but that's why I watched it in 3 parts, so it wasn't too bad.
But listen, I do think that I'm really looking forward to CM Punk's title reign. So can't wait to see how that plays out. Has he talked on television today?
I have not seen him yet.
He's come out already. He was
pro who did
CM Punk. Yeah.
What the fuck was I watching?
And he opened the show.
Oh, he opened the show. I turned it on late.
So
right now he just finished a 6-way tag.
So the title's been on television twice tonight. Interesting.
Yeah.
So
I can't wait. If you could hang on a second. Fellas, I need to call this right now before it happens. Basically. That's why I was so interrupted there. I am strongly looking forward to the CM Punk turn to heel before he drops the belt.
Sure.
Because it's going to happen.
Sure. That'll be good.
Right now, he's the people's champ. You might as well say the people's champ of 2022.
It'll be great. No, I think everybody's ready to see that. So let's talk about working the boys. I'm not sure. MJF came out and cut a promo, and I'm not sure what happened because it looked like they cut off his mic at the end tonight. But so far, I mean, they handed him a mic and let him walk out there. So
yeah, he's just now walking out actually on my side.
Okay.
This is the worst picture of MJF they could have possibly picked for this promotional poster that I'm looking at for Double or Nothing. Wardlow looks like a monster.
Yeah. So anyway, this match was MJF versus Wardlow was exactly what I expected it to be. And it paid off exactly the way I expected it to pay off. Wardlow, like MJF kept like getting away, putting in little cheapy stuff. And then Wardlow caught him before he put the ring on to give him the shot with the ring. Wardlow caught him and powerbombed him 5 times. And the referee caught him, took the ring. powerbombed him 5 times, put his foot on him to pin him, and then took his foot off and was like, no. Powerbombed him 5 more times, and then they carted him back. And
Tom, I have to jump in there. It was 6-4. I just don't want you to spread misinformation.
Okay, you're right. Okay, I'm sorry. Well, it ended up being 10. It was 10 of totally. Anyway, so it was great. It was exactly what it needed to be, and I thought it was fantastic. After that, they threw on the Wardlow's All Elite. I like that. It worked out really well. But the play up into it, where MJF missed the meet and greet. Oh, we don't know. Oh, like the dirt sheets lost their fucking minds. They didn't know what was going on. Oh my God, did MJF quit? Is he not coming? Is he not going? AEW didn't say anything about it, right? And then Mark Madden tweets at Sean Ross Sapp, you don't know what you're talking about. You have no idea what's going on. You're not there. You don't know. You have no idea. And then Sean Ross Sapp called Mark Madden a bitch in like a personal, like a DM. And turns out Mark Madden was right because MJF was there. And then Dave Meltzer, after the fact, they're like, oh, I'm sure they're going to take MJ off TV for a little while. MJF was on TV tonight. They gave him a microphone in like 15 minutes. So, it's one of those things where they worked the dirt sheets, and the dirt sheets came out looking like, I don't know if they lied to him, but the dirt sheets looked like they had no idea what was going on. And I love to see it. What do you boys think?
Derek, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
I'm sorry. I'm completely committed to the speak that's going on, but this Tony Khan MJF thing is just insane to the point where I feel like they worked themselves into a shoot that's now back to a work. I think everything's fine, to be honest with you. But the amount of information that is leaked out to the internet has just created this frothing at the mouth of the wrestling fans to now turn it into a work that MJF's just going to slam the company for the next 6 months.
I mean, that's exactly what it feels like, right? And it's like, we've been talking about it for the last couple of weeks. It's like, I want to be worked. I hope it's a work. You know what I'm saying?
It was a shoot for a minute, I think.
I would agree that I would agree that it was a shoot for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
It was a shoot that turned into a work for sure. I think that, and you're in Las Vegas, and then they're like, well, MJF was sitting at a slot machine. This was one of the reports I read, that MJF was sitting at a slot machine when the meet and greet was going on. And then we heard travel, there was travel issues. And then, because Samoa Joe had travel issues and whatever.
The Hardys almost missed it too. They were late.
Yeah. So, I mean, you get all these conflicting reports of what's going on. Hey, man, if they're out here and they're telling this story, big ups to them, because it got everybody talking. And it was like right up until the go time, man, green light. They're like, hey, man, we don't know if MJF's here. Like, nobody knows.
Loved it.
Dude, looking at this under the whole umbrella of everything that's going on, it's very Austin McMahon-esque.
Yeah.
To where
it's and look, this is, I mean, you want to talk about guys who pull eyes to the product. MJF is now, he's that guy now. It's that this is what's taken it from, like, we felt Austin McMahon when it was a thing, we were like, oh my God, this is so good. This is like, those are moments you remember from like, your childhood, when Austin showed up with the beer truck and black. Oh my God. When Mr. McMahon was in the hospital, and I'll take it from here. and he hit him with the bedpan. I mean, are these not images and memories that are burned into your brain?
I mean, it's the greatest storyline in all of professional wrestling.
Absolutely, it is, and it's it's you can't. I think we've said for a long time now that MJF is the guy to watch, right? And AEW routinely puts on both the best segment and the worst segment of the week. MJF is usually the best segment of the week, and it's usually not close. Across all of wrestling, it's usually not close. It's usually whatever MJF does is the best segment of the week in wrestling, period, and it's not close. And that's what he's done. He did it again. He probably did it again tonight, and it's great. It's been great. So,
and I really can't wait to see where they go from here, right? And like I think Derek's onto something, that this has the potential to be that McMahon Stone Cold, type vibe. And if I'm being fucking honest, boys, I'm here for it
for sure.
But let's flip the script real quick. Let's talk about the other side of this coin. Wardlow, bro. Like
Wardlow.
That dude's a fucking superstar.
So I think the next champ after CM Punk, I don't know how long Punk will be the champ. Maybe he'll finally maybe be the one to be a transitional champ, maybe. But I think it goes on either MJF or Wardlow next. I don't think there's no doubt in my mind, unless they decide, maybe Bryan Danielson can beat him. I think they'll have a match.
With that, though, is let's say you put it on Wardlow, or let's say you put it on MJF. Either one doesn't really matter in this situation. No. The other person, I don't feel like needs to take it off of them, though, because then we're just reigniting the feud that we've already seen. And huge payoff that there's no way.
No, and I don't think they need to. I don't think we need to see them. But and to your point, I agree. I think that particularly with his promo tonight, I don't think MJF's headed towards a title. I think MJF is headed towards some kind of feud with the boss type of thing.
Oh yeah.
And so I do think that we're gonna see Wardlow probably next.
Yeah, it's going to be.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Wardlow as Tony Khan's personal security detail. Some sort of ridiculous
thing. I don't want to see more of that.
I don't want to see that. I want to see Wardlow.
I don't want to see Tony Khan come out and be a character. I do not. I don't think he's that good. He's not Bischoff.
We'll see.
He's not Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
We'll see. Listen, and here's the thing, right? And that's the part about this I think that's most intriguing, because Bischoff talks a lot of shit about TK and how, he couldn't do things the way that Bischoff did them, blah, 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 blah. Like, hey man, I'm just saying, this
I think that's a lot of I'm trying to build my product, you're trying to build your product. We're going to, iron on iron sharpens iron type of thing.
And I get all that, but I don't know. TK as a character is intriguing, but are we going to get to see it? Is it going to happen that way? Who knows? But I do know this. It's time for the most anticipated segment in all of pro wrestling. I'm really going to sell that for the rest of my life.
Okay. You should.
It's never going to get over.
I mean, it should get over. So, man, which one do I talk about? I think I have to throw it back here, fellas. To where is that? Yeah, that's it. Okay. I think I have to throw it back here to did you guys watch NXT?
I did not.
No one watches NXT.
I watched NXT. Okay. So, if you watched NXT, there was a match that had Carmelo Hayes was on commentary, which was very good. That dude's a star. But Cameron Grimes versus Nathan Frazier.
Who the hell is Nathan Frazier?
Nathan Frazier is a guy on NXT 2.0. He's a new guy. Anyway, these boys had a banger of a match. This is sort of my honorable mention. just to tell you that NXT still has banger matches. This was my honorable mention because it was such a good match that it was just one of those things where it's like I was sucked in. Like I wasn't gonna actually sit and watch all of NXT, but when I turned this on and this was the match that was rolling, or this was the main event, I saw that. I was like, I'll see what's going on here. Although Ivy Nile's not that great, and there was some crap before that, but the main event did not disappoint, and it was really good. And then there was run-ins at the end, like after after Cameron Grimes won clean, Carmelo ran in, and his boy ran in, the guy that's always with him, and Cameron Grimes fought him off. It was great. It was good TV, and I think Cameron Grimes is going to be called up probably sooner rather than later because he's for sure a WWE guy. I don't think he'll be Cameron Grimes. I think he's probably going to get a totally new package and stuff. But he's a dude. He's top tier type of dude. I think Carmelo probably is too. They have the pay-per-view this weekend. They're facing off against each other, and their last match was a banger. So this one and this match, Nathan Frazier versus Cameron Grimes, also a banger. That was great. But the match of the week, I think, is honestly just because of how much I love to be worked and how great that work was MJF versus Wardlow. The match itself was perfect. It told the exact payoff for the exact story, and it was perfect, and everything about it was perfect. And it's hard to even think about anything else being a match of the week when it's like that's such the standout thing, right? So that's why I didn't want to not have a backup match of the week, but that I think is that's pinnacle wrestling right there, buddy. That's like the tippy top, the mountain of wrestling, and that's when wrestling pays off like that. That's when it's at its best. So it's hard to even, while it maybe wasn't a technical masterpiece, it was certainly the best kind of wrestling, for my money, anyway.
Yeah. All right. I gotta go back.
So basically, Tom, you're saying that you were enamored by the match that included a guy disguised as a dude beating up another dude.
Yep.
Gotcha. It was very Brock Lesnar-esque.
Yeah. No, I love that stuff. I love that shit. That's my thing. I could watch. I've told you before. I could watch Brock Lesnar beat shit out of people all day.
Oh, I know. It was totally a Tropic Thunder reference. I'm sorry, fellas. I love that movie. Anyway,
dressed up like another dude. Yeah, you swing and a miss there, buddy. Anyway,
Derek.
So, match of the week. Guys, there was so much. There's so many honorable mentions that I'd like to go through. Really, that 3-on-3 tag with the Death Triangle and the Black Market of Dumbledore was amazing.
The Black Market of Dumbledore.
Fucking Dumbledore is a violent county.
It's
a very violent county.
Apparently so.
Yeah, the local police force is up in arms. So, but the match of the week for me, even though we skipped over this actually in our previous segments, was Kyle O'Reilly going up against
Darby.
Yeah.
Did
you guys not like this? Why do you have this face?
It was fun. Why was
good?
We talked about it for 8 minutes, and you said we skipped over it.
It was like why? Why was it a match? I don't know why it was a thing.
I don't know. I watched it last night. I mean, I was kind of drunk, but I watched it last night and was like, "This is really good."
I just don't know why it was a thing. I'm not trying to be mean about it. It was fun, but I just don't know why it was a thing.
It was very clean, I felt, and there was a lot of technical shit as far as we're gonna do the coffin drop on the side of the apron and things like that. There was new things to it to where I was like, all right, we're good with this. That probably really hurt. I don't know, fellas. That was much better to me as far as everything went, because I was thinking, I can't go with the obvious stadium stampedes or things like that. Yeah, I thought that was a solid.
That's what I thought you were gonna do.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Anyways,
Yeah, sorry.
My match of the week was Serena Deeb versus Thunder Rosa for the AEW Women's Championship. I tried to gloss over this earlier, so I didn't. Man,
Thunder Rosa.
the
Sorry.
How?
Magic.
check us out over on Twitter and Instagram at @1_fall WC. That's ONE. Hey, audio folks, thank you so much. Hey guys, we appreciate you being here. While you're still here, please hit that like button. And if you feel so inclined, please subscribe. But we're gonna go and get on out of here because all hell is breaking loose above me right now, and I need to go see what's going on. So, with all that being said, it's all love. We'll catch you next week. One Fall WrestleCast.
My dog stepped on a bee.